Now, Patrice, I have to address this part of it.
Oh, gracious.
Fathers.
Yes.
And not all fathers, let's be fair, but it seems that many fathers are dropping the ball. And to me, that contributes towards the mental, the physical, and the monetary breakdown of a female. Where do you see that come into play in what you do?
And I have to agree with you, not all fathers are bad. There are many fathers who are doing what they have to do. You know, I don't male bash, the Women's Resource Center does a male bash, but you're absolutely right. Let's call it what it is. As I said, our clients are all women. So we have a lot of, all of our clients who come in with issues. Sometimes I'm saying, so where are the fathers in this? When they're coming in and they can't feed their children and they don't have this and that and the other thing, or they're going through issues with their children, why is it the responsibility of mom all the time? Why is it that they're the ones who are out pounding the pavement trying to do what they have to do to take care of the children? And oftentimes when we get the statistics from them and we get their information and we'll say, where is dad? And they say, I don't know where he is, or he doesn't pay, or he doesn't come around, or he's not there, or he has no relationship, he left and he doesn't do anything. That's a huge issue. That is a huge issue. And I think it's unfair that mothers have to carry the
What
banner.
do you say to these fathers who, I find that some people, while they don't want to be honest aloud, they can't help but to be honest with themselves,
Right.
even if they don't want to acknowledge the truth.
Right.
What do you say to one of those fathers who are watching right now and they know that they're not doing their share, which could ultimately benefit the child?
Right. What I say is they can come up with a whole lot of reasons why they're not doing what they have to do. If they don't have a relationship with the mother anymore, if they can't stand the sight of her, hate her guts, or whatever the case is. So then they just drop out of sight, or they don't come around, or they think, well, she's working, she makes money, why do I have to pay? She's driving this, wearing that, going this place, why do I have to pay? You have to pay because the children are yours and they are your responsibility. And I think to me, the bottom line is, when parents start loving their children more than they hate each other, then we'll be in a better place. When they can put aside all of whatever issue they had going on with each other in a relationship, then the children will benefit more. They don't have to have coffee, tea, and cocktails.
That's so easy. It sounds easy, but yet so many people struggle to execute that.
Right. It's where they are. It's where they are. And a lot of times it has absolutely nothing to do with the children. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the other person. Oftentimes it has something to do with themselves and where they are in life and how they view their responsibility. And some of them don't hold themselves accountable. Okay, so I left her, she's in the house, she has the children, she has the car, she's like, then I don't need to do anything else. I'm not there, so I don't have to take care of anyone. And that's sad because these little people are relying on the people who are responsible for bringing them here to be responsible for them, and they let them down. So then we have a cycle. Then the children rebel and react to who's missing and what's not happening. And then you have the parents there every chance they get, every time they see each other, it's a fight, it's an argument. They cannot stand to look at each other without somebody cussing somebody out. He's talking about her in front of the kids, she's this, then the other thing. She's talking about him in front of the kids, your dad is no good and his this and that. The poor children have no sense of loyalty. They don't know whose side they should be on, when really they don't have to or shouldn't be made to choose a side. It should be, my parents are not together anymore, but they love me.
Right.
And they both look after me.
Now, let's go back, because you said something in the first segment regarding self-worth. And sometimes as women, we tend to gravitate towards the same type of man.
Right.
They may look different, but underneath, they're the same. And then we wonder why we end up in the same situations.
Right.
How do you help women to break out of that cycle?
To have them recognize what they're doing the same of and getting the same results that are really not working. So if you're doing the same thing, you're getting the same results, but it's not making you happy, then there has to be a shift in mindset and a shift in behavior. If you know that you allowed because we make choices in who we bring in our homes and bring in our hearts and bring in our lives and the lives of our children. If we allow this behavior, that behavior, and that behavior, and it didn't work, then we have to go over here and now choose this behavior. We have to identify people. People present themselves to us very quickly if we're looking for it, because we can be blinded by all of whatever they bring with them. But as women in particular, we have intuition, we have gut, we have feelings, and we oftentimes know this isn't right, but we tend to settle, because settling for something that we're really not comfortable with is better than being alone at night. Being alone at night's not so bad, you know.
Now, I agree, but I've heard someone say to me, a male friend say that his girlfriend had said to him, I can't ever be alone. I have to have someone with me, literally every night in their presence.
Right.
Isn't that a sign of some sort of unhealthiness?
Yes, it is. And one of them could possibly be abandonment issues. Being abandoned as a child by a parent or someone who they trusted or who was supposed to be there for them. And so then they go their entire lives until they deal with it and get help, fearing being abandoned. So they will take whatever. So for her to say, I can never be by myself, is an issue. There is a problem, because even if she were to find the right person, a good person, a decent person, that person could be taken from her via death or something else. And then she feels like she cannot live or cannot function because there's not someone else there. When we as women recognize and understand that we are okay with ourselves, by ourselves, that we are okay and that we will be okay, then we will not rely so heavily on someone else. You know how people often say, oh, he makes me happy. I don't believe people, men, make us happy. We make ourselves happy.
Right.
Men can enhance our happiness. So we're happy in relationships, but we can be happy without a relationship as well.
Now, you also do empowerment for teens.
Yes.
Yes, some of us encourage our daughters. I have a daughter, and I tell her all the time, I don't want you to settle for this and that. But what types of things are you teaching the teen girls through the Women's Resource Center?
In particular, leadership and self-esteem. So the two kind of go hand in hand. When they are taught their worth, that they understand from a young age that they are good enough, they are going to be someone, that they are precious, that they have value without anybody being a part of their lives. That's what we have to start. We have to have literally say those things to our young ladies from little, from the time that they can hear. So pretty much birth. Let them know their value and let them know they don't have to seek validation from other people, in particular in relationships, romantic relationships.
So what role do you think that social media and the media, but particularly social media, because every young girl has Snapchat, Instagram, and the rest, what role do you think it's playing to their psyche?
Oh, a huge role. But if their parents or their mentors or their guardians circumvent that, then that's just peripheral stuff. Meaning if they know without going on Snapchat, Instagram, and all of that, that they are good, they are precious, they are loved, then when they go on social media, they don't have to subscribe to all of the stuff that's thrown in there that makes them, oh, you have to do this to be that. You have to be this to be accepted. You have to be this to be considered of value. All of that is just icing on the cake.
Okay, well, this wraps up another episode of Straight Talk. I'd like to thank you for joining us here today.
My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Straight Talk. I'm your host, Carla Zuill, and we'll see you next week.